What's up, everybody?
It's week 4 and we're in Phuket, Thailand.
Still. Ooh, the beach bar. This was another date night. It's been 2 days.
3.
Plus 3/4 of the day.
Yeah.
And we're finally leaving the Airbnb.
I'm sorry.
Cabin Fever Central.
I am getting so hot, I'm gonna take my clothes off.
Emptied out my soul. You've heard it all before. Honest, but I know. Left these years ago. I was young and I'm old. Still can't feel the void.
And they had dogs.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. How could I forget about that?
I don't know.
I love dogs.
That was like the highlight.
Never see the end of the night, feel sorrow. What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done. What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done. What do we do to love?
Phi Phi Islands. Wow. If there is a regret about Phuket, it was not going to Phi Phi Islands for longer.
So we landed on the main island, Phi Phi Don. This is where people live and they have hotels and restaurants, and everybody can only get around via walking or boat. There's no cars or motorcycles or scooters on the island.
Which is so cool.
We got a longtail boat, a private longtail boat. It was just the 2 of us and the driver on this boat for 3 hours. And he took us over to Phi Phi Lee, which is a smaller uninhabited island that just has beautiful, beautiful water and beautiful cliff sides.
It's the water like you go to Thailand to see. Like you just
Clear.
It's crystal clear. It's like
so
this
clear.
beautiful and perfect like blue.
We first stopped in Palea Lagoon, and that's where there was nobody. The cliff sides were gorgeous. The water was so clear, and we were just in shock and awe.
Yep.
And could have stayed there all day, but we had a couple more stops to get to. And then we went to Lo Sama Bay, and it's not as deep into the island, so it was pretty choppy out there and windy, and I get super seasick, but we had seasickness pills, so.
But I was still afraid for both our lives because it was like.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And there's other boats there, but again, not that many. And people were snorkeling. We were like, oh shoot, that would have been so cool. And then to our great, wonderful surprise, our driver just has snorkel gear for us.
Yeah.
And it was in good condition.
Yeah, it was great.
And so we put on some life jackets so we could float easier because we're
Yeah.
not very good at snorkeling.
Well, thank you. Thanks for saying we. It's really just me that's the problem.
After that bay, we went over to Maya Bay, which is where the famous scene from The Beach. To anybody going on it because they're trying to preserve the land because there were so many tourists after the movie was released.
Until recently, 3,500 people visited the beach every day. In those crowds, it felt a lot less like heaven, so the authorities shut it down.
Our last day in Phuket, we were supposed to go to James Bond Island.
Only one of you can leave the field of honor. If a coup de grâce is necessary, as your referee, I will administer it myself.
Unfortunately, we got there and it just
Not happening.
didn't work out. So we were kind of bummed, but we decided just to explore around that area because we haven't been to that area of the island before. And honestly, we're so glad we did.
Yeah, it was the best missed plan
Yeah,
yet.
it was
by far.
amazing. So we drove down the road and we were looking for a good spot to like go onto the beach and find some good viewpoints. And we ended up driving up this street that was just full of leaves. Like
Yeah,
the
hasn't
leaves were like
been
3
raked
layers.
in 10 years.
No one's driven on the street forever. And there's just houses on there, but they are,
Really nice houses.
yeah, overlooking the bay with gorgeous pools, gorgeous views, like glass walls,
Stunning.
just abandoned. It was crazy. So we decided to explore a little,
Yeah,
as much as we could before I was,
had a panic attack.
yeah, I didn't like it at all. Also, I was standing on the street as a lookout, but really just like pacing because I was freaking out. And Nate was taking pictures and stuff. And there's like all this noise. There's like this jungle brush area right over next to the house. And there was so much noise. And there were people down below like fishing. So I thought people were coming up. I'm like, there are people, Nate, like there are people. And we're on this abandoned house. So I was like freaking out just because there's people gonna see us on this house. And all of a sudden, there's this walking trail straight down, house is here, walking trail, bush. And all of a sudden, this giant head. It looks like a freaking snake head, I'm not kidding. It was like this big, pops out onto that walking trail. And I was just like, Nate, there's a giant snake. It's massive. Because if its head is this big, like, what?
What's the snake from Harry Potter?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I can't
But
remember.
there's-
That's what she thought it was.
And I'm not just imagining things, people. It was massive. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And all of a sudden it just like slinks away before I could get a picture or anything. And you just hear it in the bush like
Huge.
and I was like,
Sounds like T-Rex walking.
I'm like, do
Yeah.
you hear this? That is what I just saw. And I looked it up later and it was a freaking giant lizard.
Sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go. I'll take you to a place we can see it all. Step up.
So we ended up going up the hill and we drove past where they're building the new Sheraton residences, which
Massive.
look gorgeous. Yeah, Sheraton, please invite
For
us
an invite
back.
back.
And up at the top there was a really beautiful viewpoint. It was this huge like dirt area with a 360 view of the surrounding bay and ocean, and it was just gorgeous.
Stunning.
And we found this little beach for a second, just to get some shots on the drone, like we said. And I like noticed over a little ways down, some people walk by and they're like, oh, look at this weird concrete thing. And I like go over and it's like a fountain, like an old fountain for like the entrance of somewhere, but it's overgrown. There's trees around it. And I noticed some other like concrete up the way. And so I look on my phone and Google Maps says it's called the ruins of a hotel.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
No plans to find this. This is total
Yeah.
accident.
So we went up there and it is like a full sprawling resort, completely abandoned.
When you fall down, I'll get you back up again. The things you try are things that you won't regret. We are kings of the world, and tonight is our playground. We are kings of the world, and anywhere it's homebound. We are kings of the world, and tonight is our playground. We are kings of the world, and anywhere it's homebound. We are kings of the world.
All right, that is week 4.
And the entirety of our Phuket trip.
I know, we're leaving.
It's crazy. Kind of felt like home a little bit.
It did. It did. Totally great and relaxed environment. People are amazing, and there's just so much to do. Even with all we did, I still think there's so much more we could go back and do.
Oh, for sure.
It's crazy fun. So.
Yeah, we love it. We'll be back for sure. But on to our next adventure.
Yep. And next we are going to